Hello, everyone. It's 8:40 a.m. It's September 29th. It's a great, grand rising. The sun is risen. I'm grateful today. For today, I give thanks to the Divine Most High. I've already got to enjoy the fresh air this rising. And I was just sitting here and kind of going over and just thinking about certain things and how they are doing the spiritual community. And I thought about it another something that's happening in the spiritual warfare with the spiritual gifts, with them putting people in their different spiritual communities and using your gifts or trying to use your gifts for tarot readings or using you as a universe to get a reading. Or this is what the tarot readers, a lot of them are doing this. And with them saying, like, for some people that have divine gifts, that have certain gifts, they, if they don't have those gifts, they want you to go in their community. They'll just put you in their community, and for you and for them to be able to use your gifts, they are not supposed to be doing that. They're not supposed to be doing that. Number one is sorcery, right? And they are in a state of darkness, and for lack of it just to be transparent, they are at a point where they're kind of lost in the darkness. And they're lost in darkness because they don't know that they're in darkness, because they don't know what they're doing is sorcery. And so what is happening is, when they go, because they are in darkness, and if they take someone else that, and this person doesn't know, and this, they can see this person's light, and they got light gifts, they read them, they open. First of all, a lot of us, our first eyes are open. Some of us, your first eyes is open. People are using that, and they're attaching to your first eye. They're attached to your first eye, or they're attached to your highest self. And they'll if they smoke weed or drink, they might smoke weed or drink themselves up on your highest self. They're doing that in darkness. They are it's not good for them. You will go back to where you are supposed to be if you can clean yourself to elevate back to your divine status. But the thing is, and to your ascended ranking spiritually. However, what they do, if they rise up daily over you, you can find yourself in a place where you got to keep trying to fight your way and out of, you feel like you're under attack. But what is happening is, these people have attached to you and consumed you because they put you in a spiritual community, and they're using your gifts, they're using your energy, they're using our light. Us that follow Christ, they're using our light. That's what they're trying to tell you, to follow their side, the devil. They're telling you to go on one side, the dark side. But the truth is, what people have not accepted is, some people, it's your power, your gifts is dependent upon, like I talked about, your blood type, your ancestry. All of that is dependent upon that. I know what my gifts are. So I know that I have gifts of light as well as gifts that is of darkness as well. Because we got to think about it. I was in a place that was of darkness, but I ascended into my light. So now I retain my gifts that I ascended to in light, as well as the gifts that I had from my past experience while I was in darkness. This is all my makeup. This is me, holistically me. Because when you do the healing, you ascend. You do the healing holistically, because you got to acknowledge the mental, the physical, the emotional, the past, the present, and the future, because you got to acknowledge where you want to be in the future. And it's okay to set goals, whether they're short term or long term. I just wanted to address this real quick, because they are not reading, when they put you in their communities, they are not reading you. They're not giving the truth to you all. And that's why there's so much confusion with the tarot readers, because they are all probably under they're all getting they're all probably under one universe, and then giving reading. The next person don't know the reading that you gave someone else. They don't know that. So they don't know, oh well, you gotta really, make some mistakes for them to know, oh, or they got to know the next person that got a reading from you before they realize, oh, some of the things that they told them is the same thing they're telling me. Nobody's going to know that. And do you know how the spirit works? The spirit is also working in the form of demons as well. You got to acknowledge the spiritual realm. So that's why it's important. If you're going to be a tarot reader, it's important to do internal healing, so you can ascend to light, so that way you'll be in truth, in light as well as darkness. You'll have balance. You'll see the ascended side of things, the lighter side of things, as well as the you'll have the dark experience and say, oh, this may have been how things were, but in actuality, this is how it is. But you got to always consider both sides. You got to consider the lighter perspective of things and have a light heart. Basically, that's where the ascension comes in. When you have a lighter heart, my heart is light. And see, they keep thinking, oh, it's your heart. It's your energetic heart. My energetic heart is light. All my energy centers are clear and balanced and aligned. You got to think about that. Your energy centers is also where they try to attack your entities, and the attack is warfare through the air as well. The attack of warfare is through the elements. I've talked about this before, y'all. So there's other videos on it on the channel, and then if it's not on the platform, there's audio recordings where I've talked about this before. But the warfare attack has been on the elements. And they've been doing this to suppress us and oppress us from our gifts. And then in addition to them attacking us through the elements, you also got the healing that you already needed to do. So that's why I do what I do, for people to just know the truth and to know how to survive out here in these spiritual streets, and how important it is to do work within yourself, to internalize time for yourself to heal. Make time for your family, make time for other people, to socialize, the fellowship, because we need that. We have to do that. We need to receive it as well as give it, and as well as for ourselves, though. We need to receive individually as well as give individually to ourselves. And so I wanted to touch on that because it's something that I think is so important right now with the spiritual warfare and the spiritual communities and the attachments. And you're working with angels and demons, I'll tell you that. And then people that are into spirituality, and they're doing this new age spirituality, and they are doing spiritual work and tarot readings and all those different things. A lot of them are trying to undo things that have been done in the spiritual realm, but that's what makes it sorcery, and that can cause confusion and cause chaos within the cosmos. That can cause an imbalance on the earth as well. That can cause quantum entanglements. That can cause mental health problems. That can cause emotional health problems. That is the cause for so much within the melanated Black community. And I prefer to say melanated, but I know a lot of people say Black community. But we are powerful, and so we don't need to be lack. We don't need to be less than, because we are greater than. So, and I want you to be greater than, and I don't see colors, but I am speaking mostly towards my people, because I see a lot of what's happening amongst the Black community that's not being acknowledged. And the reason why is because so many people are in darkness, and when you in the spiritual realm, and they haven't ascended to a lighter heart, a lighter perspective, they haven't ascended to accept love within them, to give love outside of them. And this is where we are supposed to be. It's supposed to be duality. It's supposed to be duality. But the oppressors and the suppressors that created that whole entire spiritual system, they passed that down to the descendants, and the descendants did what they felt was best, and then their descendants did what they felt was best. And it just continues on in those type of traditions. and beliefs, and they got their own mindsets. But what benefit is the oppressors if they decided, oh, we're not going to oppress them anymore? But they decide, but they've cut themselves off from a part of their source. And they haven't done the healing and the work to acknowledge the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows. They haven't done the self accountability, the self acknowledgement, the self healing, the self care. They haven't done those things. So what good would you be as a leader if you haven't went within thyself, to know thyself, to know that Christ is within you? Scriptures speak about this. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. It starts there and it continues all the way to, I do believe, chapter 14. And it's really important for us to take time to go within ourselves, because that's where you can sit still with yourself in your mind. Only you gonna know you. Only you know what you need emotionally. Only you know what you're feeling mentally. Only you will know. And that's when you connect with the Holy Spirit within you. 11:11 is what hit on my phone, the timer. And so I just wanted to share some of this information. It came to me while I was sitting here, and I just said I was gonna drop this real quick video and send love to everyone this rising. And I pray that everyone has a great day today. I hope that, and I send peace and patience across the airwaves. Because if we don't need nothing, like, I can't force y'all to love, but I know you want peace. I know we need patience. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So that's all I can, do is hope the best for everyone. But some of us are out here, and I'm not intentionally saying, oh, I am working in Dharma because I'm trying to get out of karma, but I was not in karma. See, that's the thing. You come out of karma when you're able to do the self-healing and the self-acknowledgement, the self-work. It's internal work that we got to do. And so it's a lot of acknowledgement, and it's okay to be patient in general with yourself. I feel like I'm being rushed. A bit of me feels like I'm being rushed into something, but when in me feeling like I'm being rushed, it's because they're trying to pull me back into their darkness. Somebody has me in their spiritual community, and they've been using my gifts, my energy. And so I have to constantly, that's my spiritual warfare. And what has been said to me, oh, it's your ex-husband, it's his family, and oh, it's your mom. And that's how the demons do. And and I'm saying demons because they're choosing these spirits when they're continuing to do these things. When you're astral projecting and astral traveling, smoking yourself up and releasing your beasts on people in your community, all those things is sorcery and it's demonic. You are still in a state of darkness, but the light of Christ is in each individual. So you might have me in your spiritual community, and these things might be happening to me spiritually. However, because my light of Christ is within me, and I have a certain level of patience, love, and empathy within me, and acknowledgement, but yet still the ability to defend myself in a way that I am knowledgeable at. I'm not knowledgeable in areas on how they smoke themselves up and release their beast down to people, or how they might go back and manipulate the spiritual realm to rearrange this and arrange marriages, because that's what's been told to me, that I have to go back to my ex. So that was what was done on the spiritual realm with me. They're saying, oh, this was an arranged marriage and you got to go back to your ex. They did that through the ancestors. And I shot my shot straight directly to source. I didn't go through the ancestors. And I don't feel the need to. I didn't feel the need for me to go through my ancestors. I did not. And the reason why I did not feel the need for me to go through my ancestors, because I felt like my ancestors, if they are benevolent, those are the ones that I work with. they're going to be balanced. They're going to fight for the right reasons and fight in the right way, and they're going to know how to fight. I don't need to tell them anything. They already should be connected to um already connected to the divine. So that's why I say I work with the benevolent ones, because they should already have they ascended to a realm that's in light. And so they're going to know what to do and how to do it right for it to be effective. So that's being in alignment with the truth, the order, the balance, and the justice. That natural flow, the natural order, the universal laws. That's when you're grounded with that. You got to know that that's the foundation. Everything was founded on that foundation. Everything. There's universal laws. And so people build universes based off of those universal laws. That's what some people do. And that's why I say I am not a part of anyone else's spiritual universe. And so I don't give my energy to someone else's spiritual universe, nor am I trying to take from someone else's spiritual universe. However, I am not against, you know, I'm not against being connected to other spiritual beings. However, I think that it needs to be some form of guidance so you can know how to turn it on and turn it off, and how to guide yourself when you come into your gifts. And apparently that's where the Freemasons and the OES were to come in at. But they started being so much chaos initially, and then it was supposed to be order starting to be applied, a spiritual justice system. That's all I was asking for, was a spiritual justice. Where's the spiritual justice system? Like, what is the order? Y'all got to have some kind of order here. They just do say apparently they have been doing as they willed. Just taking what they want, doing what they want, consuming people. And I'm not trying to be funny, but the things that they've been doing, it's affected some of us that do not do these things at all, because they know how to do their sorcery. It ends up falling back onto the righteous beings, the ones that are, kind of humble, and that we already have our light heart. You go and take us and put us inside your communities to release your beasts, or release your demons, or release your negative spirits, and clean yourself off in there spiritually, so you can present yourself as a light being. That's kind of like, that's giving somebody else your pain to give yourself pleasure. You're not going to ever be fulfilled. And you're cutting yourself off from source, a part of your source, because you're still in sorcery. Do you hear that? And then do you hear that sorcery? That's source in there. So you are trying to be source. You're trying to do things to manipulate source. Yes. That's what that is. You're basically trying to manipulate source, and you cannot and should not want to manipulate source. That's just, if you go back to scriptures, and the Bible says, would a man rob God? Would you rob God? Would you steal from God? Would you, when you're robbing your neighbor, when you're stealing from your neighbor, when you're doing these things, and even if we're not paying back our debt, I read today that is, God frowns upon that as well. And some of us are in debt because we know we're at a state where they have put us in that state because of their sorcery. These are the things that they've been doing, and misusing the spiritual realm. And then many of us know we had a higher calling like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Know we had a higher calling, wondering what's going on. Meanwhile, your higher self is the universe for someone else, and they're just using you spiritually to do whatever they will. They don't even care about you. You will go to them and be like, man, I'm having this problem and my bills and this, and all the while they just doing so good and they got their money because they serve Satan on the spiritual realm. So they got their money because they serve Satan on the spiritual realm, but in the physical, they think they're supposed to serve God. No, ma'am, no, sir. No, ma'am, no, sir. You see, they got the Bible trying to make it seem as if, oh, when you pay, when you in debt, you in a karmic cycle in the spiritual realm. This is what we do to you, and so then you in debt. So God is not with you. So then they release your beast, and it's all sorcery, and it's all evil, and it's all demonic, and it's all lack of love. We're supposed to have love in the spirit. We're supposed to be truthful in the spirit. We're supposed to be balanced in the spirit. But a lot of people are not that way in the spirit. But you go out and you, after you go through Sunday, some of them now, I'm not saying everyone. Some people go to church on Sunday and they leave church. By the time they leave church, they cussing somebody out inside the parking lot. And the thing is, it's like did you forget about Christ? That was the teaching of the pastor, the word of God that should have been in you, and it should have been embedded in you and set with you. You should have received it. And then it was supposed to be once you read, you receive, and you apply as necessary. What about all those things? And so I'm not judging anybody, because we all out here in these streets, in these spiritual streets, in these physical streets, and we're trying to survive. Yet at the same time, we know that we got to still humble ourselves to others if we walk with God. We're supposed to humble ourselves with God, to God. And so when you're humbling yourself to God, you're pretty much humbling yourself to the next person. So I am humble to the next person. I am able to speak to the janitor and ask the janitor how you doing, and then go and see the CEO and speak with the CEO too, and like, how you doing, like, and the conversation might not be the same. Do you realize I probably might have more of a conversation with the janitor than I might have with the CEO, because the CEO might limit themselves in conversation, and I can sense when a conversation is limited, like, it's just a hi and bye, that's all you're going to get. But some janitors, they'll go forward, and the janitor may go forward and say, oh, how you doing today, and yeah, oh, this and that with me, and oh, my daughter, and it's a conversation, it's rapport, it's empathy. And I think that my profession that I did in a majority at the beginning part of my life, customer service, that's one of the critical soft skills that I learned: how to have empathy, how to build rapport, how to be patient, how to not receive what they give if it doesn't apply to you, or if they're not talking to you about you and they're just venting their frustrations. It's okay. It's okay to be patient with other people that are in opposition, that are angry, that are frustrated. It's okay to humble myself to them. And that's the area that I have developed to. But a lot of people have not developed to that level physically. And a lot of people do not apply that even spiritually, if they have humbled themselves to that level physically. And it's important for you to align and mirror your spiritual and your physical. So that way you're not set in a mental state of confusion. That's what's important. And it's just, it's developmental stages. It's developmental stages. And it's something that I am grateful for, every breadcrumb and every individual that I have encountered my entire life, because y'all left breadcrumbs all along the way for me throughout my life, for me to form my own loaf. And I'm very appreciative and grateful for every spirit guide, every guardian angel, in the physical, on the earthly realm, as well as in the spiritual, that I'm not aware of. But I give thanks for every guardian. So that's why I don't. I may say ancestor sometime, because that's just me. What may come to my mind. That's the African side of me, because my mother is of African descent. Even though my mother was raised in a Christian, had a Christian upbringing, and then she was she's Baptist, and so so that's all I wanted to touch on. And I just hope everybody has a great day today and be safe throughout your day. I send you all peace and patience.